My regular viewers probably won't really know what kind of card this might be. So stay tuned and let's have some 8-bit time. What you can see here is the Micropad with the CPU board, this time on the right, and the PAD-IO board on the left, with all the cables attached here for the keyboard and the disk drive, which is currently switched off. But what I've changed is I have been working on a new main board, or a backplane, or whatever you like to call it. So this is a new Eurocard board that I have designed specifically for the Micropad, and it uses the normal connector, these 64-pin DIN connectors that I have on all my CSA pet clone, which I started in 1989. And you can have 3 of those boards here, which is much less than what you can get with the normal backplane. That's quite a lot. But there is another plugin here, and maybe if you wonder what that is, this is actually an Apple II card. So let me show. And this is a super serial card clone, actually. So this is a serial card with the 6551 AKIA asynchronous communication interface adapter, and it's got an RS-232 interface here. So let's try it out. What you can now see here is that I have plugged in the super serial card here into this Apple slot. Actually, once fully populated, this board will have 3 Apple slots, which are, because the Apple is using geographical addressing, every slot has its designated address range, so the numbers actually matter. So this is slot 3, slot 5, and slot 7, I think. Yeah, and there are some other ones that I'll probably talk about in the next video. So let's have a look into the memory of the Commodore PAD, because this is not really an Apple compatible. I had to do some changes, and what I have actually done is I have created a memory window. Let me just and you can poke into a specific register that this memory window, which is a 4K window, that is mapped onto the Apple I/O board. You can map that into address 9000 as base address, or C000 as base address. As the C address space is occupied by Commodore BASIC here, I'll do it with address space at 9, which is different from. Oh wait, sorry. First, of course, I need to boot into the pad, and then oak 59396,1. This is to open up the area on space on 9. Hex 9000, and then I can go into the monitor, and I can have a look at and see that, well, this looks like open address space, that's right. So, but I put it into slot 5. So the address space of the Apple, the I/O address space of the Apple, has the first 128 bytes are system I/O, which is not implemented here. The second 128 bytes are 8-time. Not sure about it. At least the 7 slots that are there, or 8 slots basically, could have their I/O there. 8 times 16 bytes for each I/O for each of the slots, where you can have, for example, the disk interface. And when you check that here, you can see in address space 90D0, which is 905 for the slot 50 plus the 80 for the second 128 bytes. So that is where the I/O chip, which is the Akia here, is located, and some other registers that are there on that board. But there is more. You also have 95 to 9600, and that is the actual 256 byte of ROM that this of base ROM that this chip has. And there's also the ability. So every card has a specific address space where it has 16 byte I/O, and another specific address space where 256 bytes of ROM space, basically. And this only, if you count the numbers, you have potentially 8 slots. 0 is something special, but anyway, you have 2K of memory, of address space, and the window is 4K long, so there's the second half of it, another 2K, and this has a very specific way of enabling, which is card specific. So, and I haven't actually yet found out how to actually do that, but this would then be in this address space, which actually seems to be enabled right from the start, which I don't understand, but anyway, it seems that's what it seems to be. So let me try something, because as far as I understand, if you actually access the last address of that address space, which is 9FFFF, which is now red here, this should be disabled, but I will have to see. This is the general way of, yeah, as you can see, the ROM has been disabled. So the disabling is a general method, so every one card can disable all other cards, but just accessing the last byte of that 4K I/O window, and then map in by custom configuration its own ROM, which makes this card interesting, because it seems to be upon reset the ROM seems to be enabled. So yeah, it might be interesting to look into the boot ROM and see if this actually disables it. So see if we can sorry. So there is some not really intelligible code, but what you can actually see here is in address 951B, this is accessing the last byte of the I/O window on the Apple II, and thus disabling its own ROM actually. There you have it. So it's very good to see that this actually works, that the addressing works, that you can access the the I/O area. Unfortunately, I don't have really much time right now, so this will also be some pause in my videos. On the other hand, I had some pauses before, so I'll be back. So hope you stay with me, and see you next time. Thank you.